Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, thank you so much for being here today. I have privilege of interviewing Andrew. Andrew here is from West Chicago and he's done so many different things. For an example, he's got his own bar, he's got his own production company, he's got his own important exporting license as well. And on top of that, he does concert and works with biggest concert venues as here in Chicago as well. And as you know that this whole entire premises of staying uncomfortable is about going outside your comfort zone and doing different things. And here Andrew has shown that it's not just one profession that he's actually been able to master, but he's able to master more than multiple things. Andrew, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks for
I
having me.
really appreciate you taking the time and being here into my little house and making this into everything that is about staying uncomfortable as well.
Little house. Do you see that view? That's not a little house, yo.
Thanks, man.
Just so you guys know, there is the Chicago symbol. That's right there. The theater is right across the street here. It's kind of nuts. This is one of the biggest cities in the world, and you got one of the best views on the best strip.
I appreciate it, and I'll be honest, this was nothing ever was planned about this. And everything just fell into place when I said I want to do something, found this place, and just things started to happen. So first of all, thank you for being here. I want to start off by asking you, what are you working on right now? You're doing so many different things. What is your focus right now at this point?
So right now we're working on doing, taking the live concert experience that we have, and we're trying to make that on a bigger, broader, better scale. We are trying to do a couple of videos for non-for-profits that are happening right now, and we're planning out a kind of an attack on that so we can get them a lot more notice. We are as well taking the bar end of things and actually expanding out, and going to be doing a complete remodel to the place pretty soon.
So Andrew, with all of the things that you're currently working on, right? What I want to really know, and I think what I would want our audience to know, is that how did you get here? Like, what was your path to this journey, right? You could have steered your journey to go in multiple different directions, but what were some of the uncomfortable things that you've done in your journey that got you here today where you are?
So I always had this notion that I want to do anything I want to do, right? I've always had this mentality that I do want to do whatever I want. And I learned that I need to do that by being able to figure out how to get there.
Okay.
Right? So the term New Age Renaissance Man is what we're coming up with. And me and my friends kind of throw that terminology around pretty loosely, but I like to actually consider myself that. I have a lot of different goals that I want to do, but in the end of the day, I want to influence the world for better.
Let's talk about some of the goals, right? You have goals, right? And I also write down goals. So like every single month, right? What I do is I actually plan out what I really want to accomplish for that month, right? And then I break them down into different actions that I have to take in order for me to achieve those goals. What type of goals are you setting, or what type of goals do you have right now that you're currently working towards as well?
Okay. So there's a couple of non-for-profits in the area that I really wanted to have us be their crew. I know I can get them a lot more notice. I know that I can make their message a lot broader, and I've always wanted to be able to influence on a bigger scale on that end. So what I'm trying to do is gear a lot of my resources into proving to them that I can do just that for them, so that way I can actually help influence the world in a better way. I'm getting some of these construction companies that I'm doing a couple of jobs for, and I'm making them understand that for them to be able to market themselves better, having a better influence on the world. So I actually turned their marketing marketing strategy into a way for them to reach a bigger community, a better community, all right, and also help out the world.
And which is probably a great way of storytelling, which you have a very, very much, in terms of education, and you've done that for so many other people as well. Do you have any very specific causes that you really want to help out, right? So for me, I really do want to help out kids. Like, I love kids to death. I have niece and nephew, and it sucks that I can't see them all the time as much as I want to, but I love kids, and I definitely want to do something in my life to make sure that people, the kids especially, who aren't given proper education, proper food, or proper system around life itself, that I'm able to impact. I do currently volunteer for like a Big Brother program. So like for you, like, do you have a particular cause that you actually feel so strong about?
You turn on the TV and you see people suffering, and it's bad. You see
It's
every day, every moment, there's someone new that's suffering. All right. I feel like a lot of the suffering that we bring upon ourselves, we can actually change with a cool story.
correct.
All right. Being able to get more and more people to open up and accept each other, and more people to actually allow each other to speak and actually listen to each other, the more we will, as a society, be able to get to the green pasture at the end, right? We can all get there if we actually work with each other. So we've done stuff for everything from cancer societies to some of the other ones coming up. And although in 2017 is the year I started doing more of this, before this I did a lot more commercial work because I was working for a lot of other companies. And now I'm actually doing my own thing so I can actually do what I want to do. And because of the years of working with other companies, I have the contact list to be able to influence those other, changes that I want to have happen. Everything from racism in the South to...
Wait, let me stop you there. Racism, man.
Yeah.
3 days ago, on Friday, in West Loop here, we live in city of Chicago, the biggest, one of the biggest metro city in the United States, right?
On the planet.
On the planet, right? I'm in West Loop. I'm having a conversation with my father in my mother language, okay? My mother tongue. And there's this guy who walks by. He's probably in his late 50s or early 60s, Caucasian male. He's got his White Sox jersey on and a White Sox hat on. And I'm just having a very nice conversation with my father. He walks by and he says, "You should go back to your country and learn how to speak English." I had two options, and my decision could have been one, let me start an argument or fight with him, or two, let me just walk away with it, right? I walked away, but I was so curious to know that what provoked in his mind to say something like that. And that is the question I really, really want to understand, is that in today's society, why do we say things like this without even knowing what the other person's capabilities are or what that person has gone through in his life? And now, therefore, for an example, if I was a very angry person and if I knew that like my whole entire life I've been bullied around or whatnot, I would have chosen option one, to start a fight with him.
But we have to understand that as a society, if we want this country to be the greatest country, it might just start with a simple handshake and a gesture of kind faith towards people you don't know. It's as simple as that. It's such a simple thing. I mean, I went off to Canada. I have this exercise when I go to a new city that I literally get the cab driver to drop me off at where he thinks is the most interesting place in the city is.
Okay.
And
like that,
I make
actually,
my
by the
way.
way.
Yeah,
I think that's a brilliant way to learn something about a country or the city that you're traveling to.
Exactly. I've done it in the Bahamas. I've done it in Canada. I've done it in a lot of different cities. I've done it in Cairo. I've done it in Alexandria. Of course, I haven't really gone out other than those particular places, all that many other places yet. But going off of that and understanding that when I got dropped off and I made my way back, what you do is you make it where you know where your destination is, and the way you get there is by foot, and you ask directions for random people. All right. I took photos the entire time, and in Canada it was great. A lot of the world view, let's say, Jamaican people as almost a problem, and I really never understood that vibe.
Why? I don't know. Sorry.
I still don't understand. I was in what's it called in Toronto, so I got dropped off at Kensington Market, and I was told, hey, watch out. The guy dropped me off in Kensington Market. Literal words to me, watch out for the Jamaicans. And I was like, that's such a fucked up thing to say to someone that especially just got dropped off at a place, right?
It's like a stereotype. It's like,
yeah, it's like, so I said, fuck you, all right? Like, and I was like, you're funny, dude, whatever. I start walking around. I go into this shop, and there's a Jamaican guy right there. We start talking back and forth, and before you know, he's helping me out with a problem that I had right at that moment. And I bought a couple of things for him, like necklaces and stuff like that, and we start having a conversation. Nicest guy I ever met, right? So he's like, hey, listen, let's talk about this. So he brings me upstairs to his, he has a sound booth in his, like up on top of his shop all right? And he has this amazing board over there, right? Like, I could see it clear as day. It was, like, amazing across the entire way. So on our way back, like, way through, I made a new friend, right? I'm still friends with him on Facebook, actually. And we still talk all the time. On my way back through the city, right, he told me about this artist and the spray paint artist, right, who spray painted the side of his wall. All right, and I thought that was cool. So I started making my way back, and I found that tag art, like similarities of it, and then the symbol, meaning this guy is doing a couple of different things through the city. And then I finally find him in the middle of the road, or like sitting there with a mask on and everything like that, and he's working on a piece right there. All right, and I found him because the Jamaican guy told me about him. All right, and that guy was super cool. So here I am, now I'm talking with like 15 different people, all like huge community in the middle of Toronto. And if you ever go there, check out, like, just stop. Don't even go for any other reason, just to see the street art. It's amazing. It's breathtaking when you actually think about it. And finally made it back to the Airbnb that I was hanging out at. And then I reflected and thought to myself, if I had, heed the warning of this cab driver, I would have like had this biasm towards a group of people, and I would never had the adventure that I had today.
What you believe is also reflected of your upbringing and of your parents, and all of that plays a huge role as well. And with your journey, the way you come along here today, have you experienced certain things? Like, what were some of the uncomfortable things that you had to experience? Like, I know you told me that you started a bar, right, Cairo, and it's been 11 years and it's still going, right? Like, how'd you do that? And then you went into production side of it, and then you went into the logistics side of it. Like, and here's you that has done 3 or 4 different professions, right? And there's people that have literally worked at a company for 20 years, and just let the life go by. What were some of your personal stories or journeys in this process that you can share with our audience that can help them and help them move forward?
A modeling community that asked me to come by and have a conversation with them. And while doing so, I literally, gave them the kind of encouragement that allowed them all to start like entering way bigger fields and actually getting into real runways, just simply because they actually took the advice of just try. All right? Like, we can all, like, we have this society around us where we try to victimize ourselves, and we give ourselves excuses and not being able to get there.
100%.
Right? Like,
100%. Everybody's got an excuse for not being able to do something.
And you know what? Doesn't it get tiring just sitting there? Like I have these friends that every time there's anything that happens, right, they could tell me 1,001 ways that they can't do it.
Oh, yeah.
All right? But that one guy at the end of the bar that can and did, even though everything else, all the problems happened. Mm-hmm. Which one do you want to hear? It's like all these can'ts, or the one guy that can? Like, the one time I was at the Olympic Theater and the computer system got, destroyed, so all the LED walls weren't working. There was a Christian Mexican band about to sing on stage, and the theater is pretty long, so they got the screen so people in the back could see it, right? And my camera crew's ready to go, and everyone's ready to go, but the computer is not firing, and the screens can't happen, all right? This is, it was a big deal because there was a lot of, handicapped people and stuff like that in the audience, so we sat there, and we literally had less than 8 hours, and we sat there, and I read on how to change the IP addresses of every screen so I can actually adapt it, so I can use it, right? So I literally went above and beyond to teach myself all this networking stuff for the screens, just so I can get my screen up there, even though their video guy said it's impossible and went home because he was done with it.
I just want our audience to know here, and this is very important, as Andrew just pointed out, that if you don't know something at this point, you should be able to take steps, act upon it, and be able to figure it out. Everything is available at our fingertip. We actually literally control over majority of our life just through this small device, and you have every single point of knowledge that's available to you, and you can actually do anything you put your mind to it. All you have to do is act upon it, just like how Andrew did. Did you know anything about how to fix a monitor screen or lights or any of this stuff before?
That kind of stuff, LED panels? No, I had no idea. Before this, I gave myself an 8-hour crash course on it. All right, I'm sitting there reading, and you know what? I had Google Translate on one side because the instructions were all in Chinese. All right, so I'm using Google Translate to teach myself how to use this screen, and I'm sitting there adjusting stuff back and forth, right? And I mean, it was kind of a funny tidbit, but the last time they used it was some beach party, so the second the screen started firing, it wasn't my cameras. No, that'd be too easy, right? No. It was like, worst case scenario, there was a hot girl in a bikini up there like this in front of all these church people, all right? So that's what fires. That's it. That's what happens. No. That it can't be easy, right? So like, I finally got my stuff going, and I had the crew coming up and telling me I saved the day, all right? I had theirs.
How did that make you feel?
You know what? It felt great to be able to deliver, even against all odds, what I told them I would. Being a man of your word is the number one thing on the planet. That, like, as long as you stay to what you say you're gonna do, everything else is,
Yeah, it falls into place.
Yeah. If I just stopped trying at that moment, I would have been in my contract, okay. Hey, I gave you my best shot, it all failed, all right? But never stopped trying. Left them all with the impressions, and I still get calls from that theater owner. He doesn't have it anymore, but he has other productions that he does. He tells everybody about that, and he still tells everybody about that.
Doesn't it make you feel like really good, like when you think about, like, there's something that everybody thought that was impossible, and you went and you did it and you achieved it. It might be the smallest thing, right? But as human, I think we strive to really, really look for that validation and really, really want to be successful. And when you achieve something, a goal or something, internally you feel great. Your energy comes into it, and everything about our human body starts with energy. So if you wake up one day and if you feel like this is not, like, I'm not feeling great, you're gonna have a horrible day. But when you wake up in the morning with the mindset that I'm gonna own the day today and I'm gonna make sure I accomplish everything that I want, you will have a fabulous day. If you're having a hard time not being able to achieve your goals, one of the things that I've learned is that you want to be surrounded by the people that are doing what you want to be doing. Right? I don't know if you've ever heard of the rule of 5, where you always want to be in the middle, where you're always constantly learning from the top 2 people, and then you're teaching constantly to the other 2 people, right? You never want to be the top dog, because you're never going to be able to learn anything else, because everybody looks up to you to learn. So you always want to make yourself available in the middle, where you're teaching and you're learning at the same time as well. I think that is 100% valid, and I've proven it. I've done it myself. Like, I started hanging out, I cut some of the friends out of my life because I want to achieve some biggest thing in life. And I'm sure you probably have gone through a similar situation in your life as well, right?
Yeah, energy's kinetic. If I give you good vibes, you're gonna positively give it to me. Like, if we sat here and we just started off with insults and everything like that, and I gave you jabs over and over again, me and you wouldn't have, like, eventually you'd see we'd scoot away from each other, we don't want to be around each other, we'd never call each other again. But right now, I want to get closer to you. I think we're awesome together, and we vibe very well because we both have that upbeat attitude. We always strive to have a mark, and in the end of the day, there's no point in making a point. There's no goals. There's no admiration unless that 5 is your family. And you make small families everywhere you go. Like,
sure.
Anytime you have a new group of people around you, that's a new family of you to have right now.
Yeah.
Because in this moment, everyone else is away. We're the only ones here. And if you can't make something special out of the people you're around at that moment, then
you're missing out.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah.
Life is a series of shared experiences with each other. And in the end of the day, just make your experience cool.
Yeah. And to that point, right? Like, we talked about, like, all the things that you're doing, Andrew. At some point as human, right, we also like to have fun. What is your go-to thing when it comes to doing fun?
We found a town on Google Maps, and I'll show you that place, right? And we started walking around this town, okay? And we went in through the abandoned mental institution, right? There is no joke. There's water up to here. There is a bunch of bullet casings all over the place. There is police cars shot up on the outside. We're walking around this place. It's insane, right? And then we walk into the final room at the very end, and there's a couple cameras staring at us in the face. We're sitting there like, holy crap, these cameras are worth more than what I shoot with, all right? So we get outside, we start walking through the town, and we actually get to the end of the town itself, and there looks like there's build-outs of towns that they don't look really all that American, and it looks like build-outs and stuff. Then we see a ATV that's worth more than my Jeep, all right, and two guys that look all special ops walking up to us. Hey, you guys look like great civilians. We are civilians. Oh, you guys get out. We're shooting with live ammo right now. We're using real explosives. You guys got to get out of here.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this is a real testing zone for a military complex, right? This is real. All right, we're like, so we like kind of, walk pretty quick back to our car, and we see what's it called? The cops pull up right behind us. They're like, yo, you guys got to get out of here, like now, like before this turns into a thing. It's like, oh, okay, we'll get out of here. All right, so we started driving back, go through Indianapolis. I get a couple phone numbers, and actually just walking around the city right in the heart of it, right? I got two clients just walking around just because I helped them out with the shoots they were doing, like in the middle of it's like, hey, do this, this, and this instead. All right, you guys are golden, all right? They're still in contact with me. I gave them my business cards. If they ever need help, hit me up. And since then, it turned into a client of mine.
So you turned your adventure also into business indirectly because
Right.
you're having fun, right? And when I personally think like when you're truly having fun, I think it's not work for you at all.
No.
Like for me, I love digital marketing. I love doing this stuff. So like for me, I don't consider this work. I consider this fun for me. And it seems like you're almost the same way. Is like whatever you do, somehow it ends up connecting to your work.
Exactly.
But I think that's a great way to live a life too, I think.
Life is way better when you want to do it.
Yeah.
Always. As simple as it is. When you want to do it, it's just way better. I'm not sitting here thinking to myself, oh, I need to have a day off because my life sucks. I think to myself, I hadn't had a day off in 3 weeks, but it would be nice to slow down, but I love what I do, so why am I going to stop? Two different mindsets, same ultimate ending.
And then there's that other half of the people where it's like, oh my God, I cannot wait till Friday comes. I cannot wait till Friday comes.
Right. There's two different types of people on the planet, right? There's thermometers and thermostats.
Uh-huh.
All right? Most people are just thermometers. They can tell you what's hot. Wouldn't it be cool to make what's hot?
Yeah. No, it's a thing that I also believe in is that why me versus why not me.
Right.
Right? People always say, why me? Why does it always happen to me? Why? But why don't you flip it around and say, why not me? Why not me? Why can I not do this? Why can I not do this? And I think as soon as you change your mindset, as soon as you change that, I think your game change. You're literally changing the game the way you actually want to achieve things in life as well. What do you do for relaxing, right? Like unplug yourself from everything in life. Like what is your go-to thing?
Find a cool place in nature, hang out, and just listen to the world around me.
Yeah.
There's a lot more happening on the planet at every given moment. Just sit there and listen to it. It's kind of cool.
How many people do you think that actually do something like that?
You know what? At first I didn't think it was that many, and then the more I did it, the more I found people out there that did do it. There's an entire world of people that actually get it, man. There's a lot of people that actually understand that already. Like,
really?
I'm not preaching, like I'm preaching to a choir out there actually, so it's kind of cool. It's like, if you go and do it on your own, right? Just, those people seem to be the happiest, right? Every last one of them I run into, they're the happiest.
I have to jump in here because I recently just started doing this stuff, right? So I recently started like going out by myself. I recently started like experiencing life more by myself because I'm like, if I'm confident in my own skin and if I'm confident with who I am, then it shouldn't matter who I'm with or what I'm doing with people. And I think the more you do this, I think it helps you explore and understands life more. But then I also feel like there are people that judge you because they're like, well, you don't have any friends? Like, what are you doing by yourself, right? It's like, I never understood that concept. Like, I was one of those people before. It was like, oh, you're eating dinner by yourself, or you're doing this by yourself. But now I've seen the flip side where I was like, man, those people are so freaking comfortable with who they are and what they are, and like they're enjoying life.
A year and a half ago, I went to an Indian place by myself for the first time, right? I didn't have anyone there to tell me what to order. Oh, dude, next time, yeah. But I didn't know anything about Indian food at that point. So
yeah.
I was like, hey, bud, I don't know anything about Indian food. And the server's like, oh, I could see what he wanted to say is, why are you here? But he goes, I was like, so what's good? So he's explained to me different dishes. I was like, all right, well, I'll take that one and that one. He goes, okay, cool. I came back a couple weeks later, I did it again, all right? And I did it again. It was an exercise in learning a new culture entirely, simply because we are food, you know?
So you're a foodie.
Yeah, I love it. But we all are, you know, like we all need it to survive and stuff like that. Like the whole foodie thing seems weird to me, like calling it foodie. Like I love food, right? I'll try out a bunch of different foods, but like I'm not gonna sit here and start a blog on it. I'm not that dedicated, but it's cool to me. So I'll definitely try something new every time.
You are somebody I work with, I respect so much, and you've accomplished so much thing, and you've experienced life so much. What is that one thing you want to leave our audience with?
I got this tattoo. A friend of mine took his own life a couple years back, and I got it for him. His name is Justice Taylor. He was an awesome guy. We all didn't know he was that, you know, depressed. In the end of the day, I want you all to know that no matter what, you always have family and you always have friends around. Just remember to reach out to other people. If you have questions about your own life, if you have questions about what you're doing, I'm sure there's someone that you could find in your local community that can help you out, online that can help you out. Just go ask, because in the end of the day, you're not going to figure it out unless you're asking the right questions. So don't be afraid. Just do it. Just if you need to get a hold of anyone at all, hell, just my personal email address is film@chicagoamp.com. Hit me up directly, and I'll even send you the right ways to go about stuff. Like, in the end of the day, just remember there's other people on the planet that knows what you're going through, that's been there, that's been, hell, even worse off than you. A friend of mine, this guy Kirby, blew his arm off in the war, and he jokes about it. Like, there's people out there that they all have their own, like, issues. Everyone has issues. But remember that you can also solve them.
Like Andrew says, if you need help, just reach out, ask. I've been through depression. I've come out of it. I think everybody at some point has gone through it. And I was so lucky enough that I had friends, family members that were there for me. So please, just ask. That's all you have to do. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
I cannot thank you enough for everything that you're doing for me as well. And Andrew's helping me out with this whole entire show that I'm trying to create and really want to impact and change people's life. So I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. I appreciate your whole entire crew. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. And this literally happened, all this started happening 3 weeks ago. I just had a vision and I just knew somebody knew Andrew, and this is how we connected. And this is how this world should be, where if you want something, you ask, you put a vision, you create a goal, and things will come into place. Andrew, again, man, from bottom of my heart, thank you for doing this for me.
Of course.
And thank you for telling your story to our audience and giving them an opportunity to learn about you as well. So Andrew, with that, like, I would love for you to sign this well, because you're going to make a name for yourself, and I want to be able to say that I was honored to sit here with Andrew, and I was honored to have him sign this. So if you could please do that.